Once I started questioning things about my own sexuality, I started delving into goth sex. There's only so many ways that you can have sex with someone. Then it gets boring.
Goth is more of an attitude.
I think a certain amount of alienation can bring someone to a gothic frame of mind. It's got its dramatic music. You're going to listen to those CDs and whatnot when you feel alienated. I like the fashion, I like the look. I like a lot of the people.
Just because somebody's wearing black lipstick doesn't mean that they're a dominatrix, but it doesn't mean they're not. Gothic people, just like anybody else, are interested in a rainbow of sexual flavors.
Goth sex.
We're not going missionary tonight. Let's try something a little different.
Yes, I do like to be spanked. I like to be tied up.
Mixing pain with pleasure.
The psyche penetration.
I like bondage.
When you are able to tap into that part of yourself that can spit in a woman's face and call her a whore and tell her that she's worthless garbage.
Things that a lot of mainstream people would consider to be strange or wrong.
When I first got into the Gothic scene, heavily, started going to clubs when I was 18 and whatnot, I was quite the prude and was just very Gothic and very pretentious about being a goth and just loved to go get dressed up and didn't know a lot about life. It kind of always felt like I never really fit in, and I always thought that the girls that walked around with the black hair and makeup always looked so beautiful and so mysterious.
So the first was the Madonna phase. Then she went through the grunge phase. She looked like a tomboy and dressed like a tomboy all the time. And the latest is the Gothic phase. Now she looks all black. Dark hair.
There's actually a picture of me in here with blonde hair. Oh, yeah, right there. Check it out. Pretty scary. I was going for the Marilyn Monroe look. So. I like to ease my mom into the strange stuff that I do.
I actually don't think that Michelle is extremely involved in S&M.
Say something.
My mother considers people who are into S&M sick and perverted. There's girls out there who can just meet a guy and have sex with them and immediately like that, and they're completely satisfied with that. That's great for them, but I don't necessarily fit into that category.
As a young child, I was very, very sexually aroused by the movie Alien. You know, I thought that creature was possibly the sexiest being that I had ever seen in my entire life. And I was sort of torn between wanting to it and wanting to be it. I didn't have really very many friends. You know, I didn't want to date. I didn't want to be, I didn't want to go to the malt shop, with a boy. I mean, I wanted to, tie him to a tree. I think it's so important. Having a safe place for your monster to come out and play is the only way to be a fully healthy person. If you go to church and pretend that you don't feel these things and just, seal yourself into a little suburban coffin with a white picket fence around it, and never acknowledge your own inner monster, it doesn't go away. It's in there weightlifting, getting stronger and more bored like any prisoner.
I would define what you would call goth sex as exploring the darker pleasures. There's a beautiful dichotomy between the pain and the pleasure. When I've had a hard time and it's been a rough month or whatever, I can go in and do a carving, have a friend run that scalpel through my body, and as my blood is trickling down my back, as I feel that going through my flesh, everything leaves.
Maybe this isn't such a good idea. Like, maybe I don't want to take another trip to the emergency room. It's not funny, it's not hot, it's not attractive, it's just pathetic. And that's what I was. Here's one of the photos. This was the first shoot I did involving blood play. The blood wasn't my own, and I didn't ingest it. But that stuff did come later. Like, I can't look through this book, usually. When I look at my face there, and, like, the eyes and everything, it makes me really uneasy. It makes my stomach do that weird churn. I always knew that my sexuality wasn't the norm of, like, the people that were in high school with me, you know, with 2 first names, Bubba Sue and Billy Ray, and people were calling me fag, like, long before I even knew what it was. So the thing that really excited me about the goth scene was that it actually was not only accepted, but also it was cool to have, like, variance in sexuality.
I'd like to think of myself as a hopeless romantic, just searching for the bigger and better way to express my love to the person that I'm in love with.
Oh no! What are you gonna do?
I think when you really care and trust about someone, you can take your passion to an extreme without worrying about what the other person's going to think if they feel it's sick.
You let me violate you. You let me desecrate you.
A lot of things turn me on about Michelle. It could be just a certain look that she can give me,
You look cute.
and I'll be pretty turned on for the rest of the night.
I bought him flowers. Every flower has a meaning. So, like, I'd have to say that maybe that was kind of goth sex, because it was very highly romantic. In doing S&M, I was searching for someone that I could truly trust with my life and my love. This is the deepest that we've cut each other ever. You cut me pretty deep. I think about middle America and I see those horrified blonde Christian moms going, they're sick and perverted. Oh my God, I could never.
She wasn't accepted in the norm of things as a young child, and I think she's sought acceptance by peers, and that this group has openly accepted her. She's very attractive. She definitely has a look. I mean, that's obvious.
Someone got mad at me for being happy. I went to the fan club, and like the owner of the club came up to me and he was like, Michelle, someone's complaining about you being here because they say you're too happy. I'm like, just because you're goth doesn't mean that you have to like be all sad and depressed all the time.